good morning. Welcome back to Soul. Thanks for making time to join me today. I'm going to keep it even shorter than usual today, but I want to talk about something that we probably hear a lot more, whether it's on social media or in your day-to-day, but I'm sure you heard of the term side hustle. If you haven't, besides people who are working a 9 to 5, or it doesn't have to be a 9 to 5, but your day job, let's call it, or your night job, whenever it is you do it, it's almost like in this economy, well, it's not almost like, it is a fact that in this economy, especially millennials and Gen Z, are struggling to be able to afford the same lifestyle that boomers were able to have. Now, I think side hustles are great because essentially what it is you take something that you like, that you can make money off, or not necessarily something you like, but something that you find helpful, and you can make money off it. A lot of you who might be familiar with social media, there's a lot of people who do that online. They basically find a product and they sell it, and it doesn't have to be something that they're passionate about, but they're able to make money on the side. Cool, that's great. In my case, I like to record audiobooks on the side. I find that to be something that I'm really passionate about. But besides that, we're also now slowly turning into this society where at some point, every hobby, every skill, every fleeting interest comes with the question, have you thought about making money from it? You love painting? Sell your art. You enjoy baking? Start a business. You write for fun? You should publish a book. Now, there's nothing wrong with turning passion into profit. Like I said, even I actually record audiobooks on ACX that are published on Audible. I love it. I think it's so cool, and you make some extra cash. It's great. But somewhere along the way, especially when we're talking about things that we're passionate about hobbies, we've forgotten that some things are allowed to just exist. Now, what do I mean by that? There's really two things I want to get out of this. First is that we don't really hear about people having hobbies anymore. Like my recording an audiobook is not a hobby. I'm actually making money out of it. My podcast, for example, is a hobby. I'm not making money out of this. I'm doing it because it's fun. But a lot of times now, because people are obviously trying to keep up with the cost of living and trying to keep busy as well with how quickly and how big the world is and how expensive the world is as well, it's almost like many of us don't have time for a hobby anymore. And when we do, we automatically think about how can we make money out of it? How can we make it so that we're being productive citizens of capitalism, for lack of a better word? But the truth is, not everything needs to be monetized. Not everything needs to have a goal or a return on investments. Some things should just be for you. There's a kind of quiet joy in doing something just because you love it. Picking up a guitar and playing a song, not to record it, not to post it, but just to play. Writing in a journal with no intention of turning it into content. Maybe spending an afternoon sketching, gardening, dancing in your living room. It's not for an audience, it's not for engagement, but because it makes you feel good. And yet, it's almost like we struggle with this. We've been conditioned to believe that if we're good at something, we should be making money from it. That if we're spending time on something, it should be productive. But joy is productive. A few weeks ago, we heard that rest is productive. Creativity without a price tag is productive. So here's a little reminder. You don't need to sell it. You don't need to share it. You don't need to prove its worth, or even so, your worth. Some things are meant to be enjoyed and not monetized. And that in itself is enough. So I want you to take away two things from this. First, I invite you to find hobbies again. And it doesn't have to be one specific thing. It could be that your hobby is trying things out. It could be you try improv classes, you try cooking classes. Me and my girlfriends in a couple of weeks' time are going to do a candle making class, which I think is going to be so cool. That's our hobby, exploring things that we could do that are a bit creative. Painting classes. You know, those sip and paint or whatever they're called. That kind of thing. And it doesn't have to be that. It could be I'm trying to get a friend of mine into Pilates. It doesn't have to be a full-time hobby, but trying things out. So I invite you to try one thing, anything, whatever it is, even dancing in the room, right? Even maybe, practicing monologues or doing something silly. Really, absolutely anything that you want. And the second thing I invite you to do is, if you already have a hobby, enjoy it. It's great if you're making money off of it, but also remember that sometimes when we turn our passions into something that is productive in a capitalistic world as opposed to just for you, it loses its magic. And I really don't want to live in a world where we've got less magic, and I really hope that you don't want to either. I totally lied. I said this episode was going to be shorter, but I had way too much passion behind this topic. But I do want to remind you ultimately, everything we do, whether it's picking a hobby, whether it's figuring out how we flow with our hobbies, it's always step by step, day by day. Thanks again for joining me. Have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you next week on Soul.